Hey guys, Pokenomicon with a non-Pokemon related video, which I'm really betraying that name, but who cares? Anyways, this is a video about how to get a good feel for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, ultimately, the game plays, differently compared to Smash 4, or especially Brawl, and even Melee. Yes, every Smash game is felt completely different, and everybody has to relearn it every single time, because that's what people like to do, and it's very fun. Thank you, Sakurai. Anyways, so how do you get a good feel for Smash Ultimate? Well, movement is very important in this game, as it is for almost every Smash game, but movement is very important in Ultimate, specifically because of some of the new changes they made. So, how are you about to go and get a feel for it? Well, just like I said, movement. So let's detail some of those movement options. But first, you want to become familiar with the characters, their weight, and momentum. These are three important factors you want to consider when playing characters in Ultimate. You want to know what characters you're working with, you want to know how their weight works, and you want to know how much momentum they have going from dashing or walking or doing any move in the air. That's very important to know of how things are going to go, because sometimes you might look and think, oh, if I do this move, this might connect into this following aerial move. But sometimes it might not, because the weight may be different, the momentum might change, there might be rage. There are factors at play here that can change, and you got to get a really good feel for the character's weight and momentum, specifically that way you could follow up regardless of the percentage or if there's rage and factor. So, as I said, get a feel for how characters move. Try out a couple different ones. Try out multiple different ones. Try out light ones. Try out some regular heavy ones. Try out some lightweight ones. Try out some more medium heavy characters. Get a good feel for how these characters move, because while weights are, various between the 70-something characters in the game, there is still a familiarity between switching between one character and another. So just getting a good handle for it is already a good step to take. Now, after you get a good feel for the characters, the next thing you're going to start learning is about how they walk, how they run, how they dash. Now, this is also super important, especially so in this game with the way the dash dances and the short hops and stuff and all that works, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. So first, walking. Now, this is a fighting game, so why wouldn't you just be running full sprint and to hit the enemy and take your claim to victory? Well, sometimes walking is actually a good option. Sometimes when you walk, you confuse your enemy. Because it's a game where you're rushing around all the time, walking can actually confuse some people, and you may be able to strike at that weakness or at that moment of vulnerability where they don't really know why you're walking. If you're just walking away from them, they might just rush in, and then you're able to get that strike as they unexpect it. So walking could be a very viable option in some situations, not a lot of situations, but in some situations it could be very useful, especially with characters that have long range, like Richter and Simon or Corrin. Now, running and dashing. This is obviously going to be your bread and butter for most of the game. You're going to be running around, dashing, jumping, and going all sorts of crazy ham on the characters in the game. So, you gotta really get a good feel for how the characters run, how fast they run, how quickly they can turn around, how quickly they go from walk to dash, how quickly they can go from a dash, and also the foxtrot. Now, the foxtrot is basically you just pressing the dash stick in one direction, but ending your momentum and not dashing completely. So you're kind of just like skipping almost, is a good way to put it, for people who aren't familiar with the foxtrot. Now with the foxtrot, you can keep flicking back and forth to do something called a dash dance. Now it's basically literally just you going back and forth in one spot, but with this game in Ultimate, you are able to act out of a dash. So being able to act out of a dash dance means you can be flicking your stick like a madman, and then all of a sudden go for a tilt move, or you can go for a neutral move, or you can even go for any of your specials or smash attacks. You can do almost anything out of a dash now. So being able to dash and dance around, but strike the enemy when they least expect it, or they might not even know what direction you're going to be facing next. There's a whole bunch of options that are available to dash dancing, and it's also a good movement option as well. Now, I mentioned short hops and such like that, and there are two different kinds of jumps in the game. There's the short hop, which is kind of just you almost flicking the stick, or flicking the button I should say, and just jumping a little short distance, and then of course there's holding the button for the full hop distance. Now these two hops are very important because a lot of the damage done by some of these characters come out of their jumps. Like Chrom, he can do a lot of short hops into his aerials, which is very important for his game, for his play, I should say, rather. So for some characters, maybe a full hop is good, especially at an edge where a character might jump from the ledge to get back up, and you're just ready up there with the full hop, ready to smack them back out of the stage. So short hops and full hops are very important, but one could conversely say short hops are infinitely more important because there's a lot more versatility to them than a full hop. Now, short hop aerials is a new thing. Well, it's not really a new thing. It's always been in Smash Brothers, but it's finally been implemented in a gameplay standpoint where if you were to do a short hop and an aerial at the same time, you basically do a short hop aerial, which it was never that case in previous Smash games. You could do a short hop and an aerial, but you'd still have some kind of jump momentum, or sometimes you'd just still keep going, or maybe you'd mess it up. But now it's an actual thing, an element of the game that they implemented that you can do, which is great, because you could just short hop aerial, short hop aerial, short hop aerial. It's also a great spacer, meaning if you're just trying to space some distance, make the opponent afraid to approach, and you're just throwing out aerials after aerials after short hop, you're ready to get back to the ground and attack them when you can. It's a pretty good space option just to keep your enemy kind of away from you, but also, you know, you're ready to attack when needed. Now, there's other movement options as well, like the air dodges, or should I say the directional air dodges, rather. Now, in Super Smash Bros. 4, you could just air dodge in the air consistently for as many times as you got back to the ground. But in Ultimate, you are effectively punished for using your air dodges, and what I mean by that is, if you use your air dodge way too early in the sky, you are left open for an extreme amount of time, leaving you vulnerable to counterattack almost immediately after invulnerability frames are over. So, air dodging in the air, as weird as that is to say, or at least high up in the air, isn't as viable as it used to be. Now, what you can do with these directional air dodges, you can directional air dodge back to a ledge safely, so you can avoid being smacked by an opponent or gimped, because you're air dodging with your invulnerability frames to grab back to the ledge and get back into the fight, which is good. Now, if you do it wrong, well, then you have end lag and you're going to be punished. So, getting a feel for how the air dodges work is also very important, because with the directional air dodge, you can basically air dodge in almost any of the 8 quadrant directions. You could do up, down, left, right. You could do any of the quarter diagonals. You can even air dodge into the ground to do a mini wave dash, even though it's not that great in this game, but that's fine, because the dashing is broken, honestly. So, the directional air dodges are going to be very important for somebody who's trying to get a feel of the characters, trying to get a feel for how to move, feel to how to come back to the stage. It's one of the most important aspects, is getting back to the stage safely, because if you can't get back to the stage safely, you're just going to keep getting hit and hit and hit off the stage, and you're going to be racking up a lot of damage before you can even get back to the center of the stage. So getting back to the ledge safely and getting back to the center of the stage and re-getting your position is important. Just as important as movement. And that's a part of movement. Coming back to the stage is part of movement. Of course, you know, with the ledge, you can just do a regular get up. You can do a jump from the ledge. You can roll from the ledge, or you can attack from the ledge. Now, depending on how the opponent you're fighting and how they play, you may do differently. If the opponent likes to attack a lot at the edge, you might do your own attack with invulnerability frames to break out of theirs. If they like to wait at the ledge at a distance, maybe you don't want to roll. Maybe you want to jump and do an aerial to get back to the ground safely if they're right below you. There's different ways to approach the stage, and that's also part of the movement that you need to learn. So you're not just learning ground movement and characters, weights, and momentums, but you're also learning the air movement and how the characters work in the air, including how your character works and how the opponent works in the air. Because if you know how your opponent works in the air, depending on what character they may be, you're probably able to gimp them right into the abyss. And gimp, for those who aren't familiar, is basically hitting the opponent with a weaker attack, or even a stronger one, but mostly it's weaker attack, to the point where you literally gimp them and they can't recover back to the stage because you've hit them away from the stage to the point where they're unable to recover, which is a very good option against certain characters who are very strong on the ground but not as strong in the air, like the Belmonts, Cloud, or Little Mac. So trying to figure out the character matchups, trying to get a feel for your characters, but also have an understanding of the other characters and how they move and their weights and how their momentum works is a good start to actually going forward and understanding the game a bit more. So I hope this video, albeit it's gone on a little bit longer than I kind of wanted it to, but I hope it gives people a little bit less inclined for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or maybe even just Smash Bros. In general, a bigger idea of the movement options that are in the game and how to get a better understanding of those options to take your play to the next level. So, this has been Pokenomicon, and I hope to do more Smash Bros. Related videos in the future, but I think this is a decent start at least, and I hope to see you guys next time. See you guys then.